Going into 2025, we need to do better. We really need to do better. We just need to take our power back. That's what I want us to get better at. That's what I want us to keep practicing and practicing as we go into 2025, because I think that's one of the things that are really going to help us. Let's just go into 2025 with that mentality. Let's get ready for work while we have this little chit chat. There's something that's been on my mind that I feel like we really need to talk about. So I'm just gonna do my makeup. I'm not gonna go into detail with the products that I'm using, but I think I can just list the products on the description box. That way, then you will know what products I'm using. There's something that I really wish us women could get better at or could master. You know me, I have a lot to say when it comes to how men conduct themselves, specifically in relationships. There's very little that I admire about how men conduct themselves. And this stems from my own experiences, the experiences of the women around me. I'm not just talking about what I see on social media, what I hear on social media. I'm talking about my experiences and the experiences of the people around me. But there's one thing that I picked up, which is a positive for me when it comes to how men conduct themselves in relationships, that I wish us ladies can also work at it and become better at it. I think if we do that, we are more likely to become happier in relationships, even when relationships don't work out. But I think the impact of, a relationship going bad will not be so much on us as women if you can just get better at this. There's one thing that I want us to get better at, which I think men are really good at, is that men will always put themselves first. Men will always do what benefits them. We should also learn how to do what is best for us, how to do what benefits us, because as women, we tend to compromise a lot of what we want when it comes to relationships. It has to do with our nature, with how we are as women. We always want to take care of other people. We always want to make people happy. I think that's a good thing to some extent. Where it becomes a problem is where we do things that we know we don't want to do, or that we know we shouldn't do, because at this point it's not about not knowing what you want or not knowing what to do. We've passed that stage where we don't know what we want. I think we know exactly what we want. What we just need to do now is to just stick to it. We just need to stick to what we want and don't entertain anything that is not that. I think that if we can also just work on that, just work on making sure that we do what we want to do, we do what benefits us. We find ourselves just compromising a lot, and then when that relationship doesn't work out, the impact is so much bigger. The impact is just severe because we've given up so much, we have compromised so much for that relationship. But if we just remember to just do what we want to do, to just do what benefits us, at least we will know that even when the relationship doesn't work out, but we did gain something from it, as opposed to just giving and giving and giving every single day but not getting anything in return. I feel like my brows are not really browing. But that's what we have right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead, because if I can try to make them perfect, we'll sit here the whole day. I've seen so many cases where a woman will just continue just giving and giving and giving, and they will realize while they're in a relationship that they keep giving but they are not getting what they need in return. I've seen so many cases like that, including my own experiences, where I knew while I was in that relationship that I'm not getting what I need, but I keep staying. I keep thinking or wishing that things are going to change, and I find myself compromising. I find myself making excuses for the other person to say, oh no, they're just busy. Oh no, they really can't do it at this point. Oh no, oh no, oh no. But at the end of the day, I know very well that if I wanted to do something, now I'm talking about myself, if I wanted to do something, I do it. I do it. If I don't want to do it, then I'll come up with the excuses. Or not even necessarily that I don't want to do it, but if it's just not that important to me, I find myself having excuses. That's the one thing that we should just know and accept, instead of always complaining about the things that we are not getting, always complaining about the next person, that they are not doing this, they are doing that, just always complaining about that, wishing and hoping that it will change. I wish we can just realize and accept that it's not going to change, and accept that when a person wants to do something, they do it. When they don't want to do it, or when it's not that important to them, they don't do it. They will always have excuses. I'm saying that because I know that's exactly what I do. If I don't want to do something, I will always have excuses. I wish then we can get to that point where immediately when we feel like we are not getting what we want, because like I said, I feel like we already know what is it that we want at this point. It's really not about knowing or not knowing. It's just about sticking to what we already know, sticking to what we want, and not compromising. Because I assure you, if a man is in a relationship and all of a sudden they are not getting what they want, trust and believe that man is gonna go and find what they want. They're not going to make excuses for you. They're just going to know that, okay, this is what I need from this relationship or from this person, but they are not giving it to me. Sometimes they don't even talk about it. They don't even feel the need to discuss it. They're just gonna go and get what they want elsewhere. That's how men operate. That's just how they move. They always do what serves them. They always do what benefits them. They are not going to stay for something that does not benefit them. Trust and believe they are not. That's the one thing that I feel, or I wish us women can also just get better at. I think if we do that, we'll regain a lot of our control, because you are in control of your own happiness at the end of the day. It's no one else's responsibility to make you happy. But I feel like as women, we tend to put a lot of that responsibility on a relationship or on the person that we are in a relationship with. I'm not saying that, you should not be willing to talk about things and willing to compromise. Of course, those things are still important when you're in a relationship, but it cannot just be you that's always compromising or that's always wanting to make things better. It should be both parties. It can't be just you that's always complaining, that's always hurt, that's always angry about something that this person is doing or is not doing, and yet to just continue to stay in that relationship. It cannot be. So if we can also just teach ourselves that we should care a lot about what we want in a relationship. We should put that first, actually, what we want in a relationship. Because like I'm saying, men, they've definitely mastered that. They definitely know what they want, and they don't stay if they don't get what they want. As women, we don't get what we want. We don't get what we need. And we stay, we complain to our friends, we complain to our partners, we just complain a lot because we are not happy. We cry, we talk about it, we do all of these things because we are not happy, because we are not fulfilled in that relationship, because we are not getting the thing that we need in that relationship. We stay, we talk, we complain, we cry, but why? Why do we do that? If someone wants to give you the things that you need, they would. You wouldn't have to fight for it. You wouldn't have to complain about it every single day. Let's just not do that anymore, because like I'm saying, we find ourselves having spent so much time in the relationship, having invested so much of our time, and then when the relationship doesn't work out, we feel like I've invested so much in this relationship. Sometimes we don't even want the relationship to end because of that exact reason. We feel like we've invested years already. We've spent so much time trying to make it work, trying to, make this person to be the person that you want, to be the person that will make you happy. And I don't even want a person to change for me at this stage. I want a person to want to change for themselves. I want a person to want to do better for themselves, not for me even. I want a person to want to be a better communicator, to want to be a considerate person, to want to be a person that keeps their word, to want to be that person for themselves, not for me. So I feel like it's not for me to want to change that person so that they can be that person that I want. I don't want that, because I feel like I'm gonna have that responsibility for the rest of my life in that relationship. I don't want that responsibility in a relationship. I really don't want that responsibility. That is just too much for me. I don't want it. Why must I be somebody's supervisor? I don't want to be your supervisor in a relationship. I want you to do what you say you're going to do because you just care about, keeping your word and being that person who keeps their word, not because I tell you to. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be anybody's supervisor. I want a person who does what they say they're going to do because that's just what they do. They do what they say they're going to do. Immediately when I realized that you are not the type of a person that does what they say they're going to do, then why do I continue to stay? Am I hoping to change you into this person that keeps their word, that actually does what they say they're going to do? I mean, why should I do that to myself? That's why I'm saying that I want somebody that wants to do those things because they want to, because it's important to them. Because if it is important to them, then they're going to do it. But if it's not, they're going to have excuses. If we can just get better at that as women as well, to say, if I don't get what I need, I'm out. I'm gonna go somewhere else and find it. That's just how I'm going to move. I think we're gonna be in a much better situation. We're not gonna spend so much time trying to change people into these people that we have in our heads that we think that they should be. We're just gonna be in a relationship and be happy in a relationship and know that if we are not getting what we want, then we're allowed to go elsewhere or to just not be in a relationship at all and just continue living our lives and be happy with ourselves and not have this need of always being in a relationship to that extent that even when we are compromising ourselves, even when we are compromising what we actually want and need, just for the sake of saying that we are in a relationship. When a man wants to cheat or when a man wants to pursue another relationship, they're going to do it. And trust and believe, they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about how is that going to make you feel. They know exactly how is that going to make you feel. But they're not worried about that. Why? Because the only thing that they care about is themselves, is doing what benefits them, is doing what's right for them, what's going to make their lives better or easier or whatever the case may be. That's all they're focused on. That's why they don't think about you. That's why they go out and do all these things, because they don't think about you. It's not that they don't know that doing those things or how doing those things is going to affect you. It's not that they don't know. They know. It's not that they don't know how making promises and not keeping them is going to affect you. They know. It's not that they don't know all those things. They know. They just choose to do what benefits them. They just don't think about you. But us as women, we do that a lot. We think about the next person. Oh, we even change our lives. We even stop doing the things that we actually want to do. We stop going where we want to do. We stop being ourselves because we are just trying to mold ourselves into becoming this person that this person wants. Not necessarily that we ourselves want to become that, but we just continuously mold ourselves into becoming this person that is gonna make the other person happy. But why do we do that? Men don't do that. Going into 2025, we need to do better. We really need to do better and think about ourselves, put ourselves first, so that even when things don't work out, we know that we didn't compromise so much of ourselves, we didn't give so much of ourselves to something that didn't give us anything in return. So we really need to just get better at that. Just get better at doing what benefits you, doing what serves you, because like I'm saying, men will always do that. They will always put themselves first. They will always do what benefits them. They will always go where they benefit. They're not gonna keep on crying and talking about it and trying to make you change. They're not gonna do that. They're just gonna realize that, all right, this is not it for me. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Either by cheating or by just leaving the relationship or by just frustrating you so much that you end up leaving the relationship, because sometimes men don't want to actually be the ones to say, this is not working out, I want out. What they will do, they will just frustrate you to the point where you just don't even want to stay anymore. So that's what they do. They will always go where they benefit. They will always go where they're happy. They will always put themselves first. They do that all the time. Every single time they'll always put themselves first. That's what I want us to get better at. That's what I want us to keep practicing and practicing as we go into 2025, because I think that's one of the things that are really going to help us to not be so much victims when it comes to relationships, because most of the time we find that a woman is the one that is feeling like a victim, is the one that's feeling like they sacrifice so much, they compromise so much of themselves for this relationship. So let's just go into 2025 with that mentality to say, I'm just gonna do what benefits me first. Not saying that you should be a selfish person who doesn't think about other people, but do what benefits you first. Put your feelings first, put what you want first, and stick to it. Don't stay in something that you know exactly is not what you want. Don't stay there and keep complaining about how men are dogs and how men are so bad. We just need to take our power back and just do what benefits us. I think that's gonna put us in a much better position. I think we're just gonna be a lot happier. It's just gonna be so much easier for us to live when something is not working out, because when you keep on staying, you stay there for years and years and years, and then you find it difficult to leave because you think, I've invested so much of my time, so much of my energy into this thing, into this relationship. But if we just tell ourselves that the minute I can see that this is no longer it, I'm out, then this is just gonna be that. This is just gonna be how we move. This is just gonna be how we live our lives. I think we're just gonna be a whole lot happier if we continue to do that. So this is the makeup look that we did today. I'm getting ready for work, by the way. It's about 7:30 now. I must just quickly go and get dressed and get to work. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and also do click the subscribe button. I'd love to have you over. Until the next video, bye.